Hello, I'm Gustav Tilleby, Creative Director of the Finals, and it's my honor to introduce you to our next season, which means that Season 9 is about to come to a close. I would like to start off by saying thank you. This season, Point Break quickly became a fan favorite, and Fangwai City brought a distinct new setting with a different look and feel and a new backdrop for all the moments you've been making. We also saw the biggest influx of new and returning players in over a year, bringing a new energy into the arena. We experienced the finals alongside all of you, and putting the game in your hands always comes with surprising discoveries, which in turn leads to changes in the game. To those of you who have been on this journey with us, we're very grateful. We've also been working on what comes next. Starting in Season 10 and continuing beyond, Year 3 of the finals introduces changes that we have been working on since the very beginning. Now, with Season 10 moments away, we're excited to go through some of its key highlights and features, so lean in and let's take a look at the enchanting changes coming to the arena.
Season 10 is called Fantasy League, and this time the show looks a little different. Castles, legends and heroic rivalries have found their way into the finals by the hand of a mysterious force. It's not what Multico and the showrunners originally planned, but somehow it still feels right at home. Let's take a look at some key highlights of the season, starting with seasonal content and arenas. The Battle Pass leans fully into the fantasy theme, where we've taken cues from fantasy stories, mythical creatures in medieval armor, creating contestant outfits, weapon skins and gear that bring that world into the finals, with each page offering a small glimpse into the story behind it. We're also introducing a new TDM and Point Break map called Starlight Hollow. Starlight Hollow is a directional arena, designed specifically for frontlines in Point Break and for close engagements in Team Deathmatch. Narrow streets and open courtyards are surrounded by clusters of buildings, divided by open fields, forests and hills that create a strong sense of direction. As attackers push forward and defenders try to hold the line, the environment reinforces the progression of the match, giving players a clear sense of where the action is happening and where it's headed next. Starlight Hollow will have a dedicated Point Break queue for the first 3 weeks of the season, as well as featuring in TDM mode. Now, let's talk about playstyles and combat. Season 10 introduces the first new specialization we've added since Season 3, as part of a new playstyle called the Aerialist. This playstyle is built for the medium body type and introduces a new specialization, a new weapon and a new gadget. Together they create a playstyle focused on mobility, positioning and creative use of the environment. The new specialization is called Shockwave. It creates a burst of force on impact that pushes players and objects away. You can use it to knock opponents off rooftops, clear turrets or mines, or bounce yourself to higher ground. The weapon that comes with this playstyle is a semi-automatic crossbow, the Chimera XB. It fires small bolts in quick succession and is designed to be easy to control even when moving. The weapon has strong hip-fire accuracy and little recoil, allowing players to stay mobile while maintaining pressure in a fight. It makes it a natural partner for the Shockwave specialization. Players can reposition quickly and continue landing accurate shots while on the move. The new gadget is the Hoverpad. The Hoverpad deploys a levitating platform that remains in the air after it's placed. It allows players to create high ground almost anywhere in the arena. This opens up new movement and positioning opportunities. Players can use it to reach rooftops, gain sightlines over cover, or create new entry points into buildings and objectives. Together, they create a playstyle built around movement and positioning, adding more variety to the medium body type. Alongside the new playstyle, we've also continued refining combat across the game. Several weapons have received adjustments that change how they behave during fights. The AKM now carries additional ammo. The FCAR fires slightly faster, and the Pike has smoother recoil. Other weapons have also seen tuning passes. For example, the M26 Matter now fires with tighter pellet dispersion, and the minigun carries more ammunition to keep pressure on opponents during longer engagements. We've also revisited weapons like the SH1900, trading some raw damage for improved accuracy for more reliable control in close-range fights. Gadgets have also been adjusted to better fit the pacing of matches. The Lockbolt, Thermal Bore and Sonar Grenade now have shorter cooldowns. We've also updated how the Data Reshaper interacts with defensive equipment. Now it can reshape objects through mesh shields and dome shields, which means it can even reshape the dome shield emitter itself. We've also made improvements to how players interact with combat systems in general. Players can now sprint while placing gadgets, allowing teams to stay mobile while deploying equipment during a fight. Quick melee interactions have also been standardized across body types, so players can reliably break objects and interact with the environment. For controller players, Season 10 introduces a broader quality of life pass with improved aim assist settings, interaction behavior, and additional input options that make it easier to tailor the controls to individual preferences. Next, let's talk about gameplay and modes. Communication and coordination play a huge role in the finals, and Season 10 introduces major updates to the ping system. The updated ping system is more responsive and reliable, making it easier to communicate information quickly during a match. It also includes lots of additional voice lines for specific items and objectives in the world. Additionally, we've also added 2 new ping wheels to the game to add more depth to team play. The comms wheel is available to eliminated players, allowing them to message teammates for revives, to tell them they'll use a coin to respawn, or provide instructions like asking them to stall the objective. The equipment status wheel allows players to make callouts to teammates about the status of each item in their inventory, letting them know when that RPG is available or on cooldown, allowing for tighter coordination. Elsewhere in the HUD, we've also added party indicators to the scoreboard. During a match, you can see which contestants on your team are grouped together in a party. And in the post-match scoreboard, you'll see the party set up for all teams. When it comes to game modes, Season 10 brings changes across several modes. Cash-out spawn logic has been revisited to improve pacing, including adjustments to spawn positioning on coin use and significant reductions to spawn blocking in the final round. Overall, respawns are now more consistent and better aligned with objectives. And Point Break continues to expand. Nozomi Citadel is now available in the mode, and Starlight Hollow is featured at launch. Additionally, respawn credits in Point Break are now earned by the attackers per objective completed, rather than by phase, allowing attackers to better sustain assaults. Now, let's talk about Ranked. In Season 10, we're introducing several updates aimed at making ranked tournaments feel fairer and easier to understand. One change addresses how disconnects are handled during a match. Currently, if a player disconnects and fails to return within the reconnect window, they automatically receive a loss, a ranked score penalty, and a leaver penalty. Starting in Season 10, if that player reconnects later and their team still goes on to win the round, the automatic loss and leave penalty will be removed. In those cases, we can clearly see that the disconnect didn't cause the team to lose, so the system will now account for that. We're also changing how tournaments are presented when you enter them. Previously, the game labeled tournaments as easy or hard based on team skill levels, which could often feel misleading. In Season 10, we're replacing this with 2 clearer indicators. Skill range shows how large the gap is between the strongest and weakest teams in the tournament. Goal tells players where we expect their team to finish based on seeding. For example, a 4th seeded team may be told their goal is to reach a second round. We're also introducing a restriction for parties of 2 entering ranked tournaments. Right now, players with very different skill ranks can queue together as a duo, which can create frustrating situations for the solo teammate that joins them. In Season 10, we're limiting how far apart players in a 2-person party can be. If their ranked scores differ by more than 10,000 RS, they will no longer be able to queue for rank together. This restriction does not apply to parties of 3, where no solo player is affected by the party composition, and it also does not apply to players going through placement matches. At the start of each season, we also recalibrate skill ratings across the ranked population, seeding the new compressed ranking based on the player's old ranking. In previous seasons, we compressed ratings quite aggressively, which could lead to uneven matches early in the season. In Season 10, we're compressing the population less. Placement will now cover a wider range of ranks, extending up to Platinum, reducing situations where very high-ranked players are matched against much lower-ranked teams. We're also improving transparency around ranked score. At the end of a tournament, players will now be able to see the ranked score values of all players that participated in the match, giving a clearer picture of the skill levels involved. We're also refining how matchmaking works for ranked tournaments. In Season 10, we're adjusting the algorithm so that full parties of 3 and teams made up out of solo players are separated more often when possible. While we can't always fully separate them, especially during quieter times of day, this should significantly reduce how often these teams meet. And this is only the beginning of the work we're doing in this area. Later in the year, as part of Season 11, we'll continue improving the ranked experience with updates like allowing personal performance to influence a portion of the ranked score gained or lost in a match, clearer messaging around disconnected teammates and when it's safe to leave a match, and more detailed breakdowns showing exactly where ranked score changes come from in the post-match flow. Season 10 also introduces several new learning and recognition features aimed at helping players better understand how the finals is played, including what we call the Finals Academy. The Academy is designed to help players understand the unique mechanics that make the finals different from other shooters. Through short videos and examples, players can learn about teamwork, objective play, destruction tactics, and how to work effectively with their team. This is the first iteration of the Academy, and we plan to expand it over time with additional lessons and strategies. We've also improved the way matches conclude. The match recap now includes a tabbed layout that brings together progression, rewards, and performance into a clearer overview. Players will see MVP highlights, honorable mentions, and a personal performance summary that shows how they contributed during the match. We have also added additional gameplay tips that appear during loading screens, helping players learn new mechanics and strategies while waiting to enter the arena. And we've improved the recent player screen in the social menu. Instead of showing a simple list of names, the system now organizes players more clearly, so it becomes a useful way to reconnect with teammates from previous matches. Finally, we have quality and stability. Season 10 continues the work we've been doing to improve the consistency and reliability of the core experience, continued improving the reliability of weapon and gadget systems across the game. These updates reduce edge cases where equipment could behave inconsistently. On the technical side, we have introduced several performance optimizations that improve texture streaming, network efficiency, and destruction processing during matches. These improvements help reduce frame time spikes and keep gameplay running smoothly, even during the most chaotic moments. Season 10 also includes a wide range of stability fixes addressing rare crashes, animation issues, and audio inconsistencies. Season 10 brings a new theme, a new arena, a new playstyle, and a long list of improvements across the game. It's another step forward for the finals, and part of a larger journey that will continue throughout the year. Before jumping into Season 10 in a few minutes, we do have one more thing to show today, and it's about the future of the finals. Some of you have been following our adventures since day one a few years ago, and we feel that we're now in a place where we can share even more with you than just one single season ahead. And this means sharing a bit more about what we're working on for the rest of Year 3, Season 11 and 12. The roadmap is not final, and it's not exhaustive either. There are still surprises we haven't revealed yet, and things may change or evolve along the way. But today, we wanted to bring you closer to the journey with us than ever before. We previously shared that Year 3 is where we want to lean into more creative themes, while also improving our technical quality, strengthening our core pillars, and refining the game's fundamental systems. And with Season 11, we will continue building on that vision. In Season 11, we're completely rethinking our approach to the melee system. While the exact balance changes will be revealed closer to release, we're currently iterating on several updates that will improve the skill gap and make melee feel as rewarding to master as our other weapons, while reducing frustration. We'll also be focusing on a brand new player experience, revamping our onboarding system, in-game tutorials, and more. Season 10 is already a great time to jump back into the finals, and with Season 11 we're making it even easier for new players to join the arena. If you've been with us for previous seasonal reveals, you know that game optimizations and anti-cheat are always top priorities for us. Even if we're not diving into details, please know that our teams are full speed ahead on both. Finally, even though we're sharing a bit more today than we usually do, you'll notice that we're not revealing much about the end of Year 3, Season 12. And that's because we want to surprise you with the biggest season in the history of the finals since launch. It's not something we're building in just a few months. It's something we've been working on for a long time. Season 12 is about evolving our core vision, getting closer to what the finals was always meant to be, taking everything we've learned along the way, all the experience, including your feedback and your time in the arena, and using it to craft something that feels fresh, new, and truly evolved, while still being true to the finals. That was our overview of what's coming to the finals. We'll continue updating this roadmap along the way and share more with you as Year 3 progresses. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in today, and it's my great pleasure to officially launch Season 10 Fantasy League for all of you right now, and we'll see you in the arena.